Welcome to the Grade 2 Cadre session. We are excited to have you here with us to learn about and prepare for Module 3. Today, we will go through the content of the module, the focus standards, and resources that are available to support you and your students. Here you will see a schedule for all of our planned Grade 2 Elementary Literacy Cadre dates for this school year. As of now, all Cadre PD sessions will be virtual using Google Meets. While it does say extended day and non-extended day, please feel free to join whichever session best meets your needs. Each session will also have a recorded version. The link to the recording will be posted in Google Classroom for anyone who wasn't able to join us live. Please pause the video and take a look at our agenda for today. While Module 2 focused on informational text, Module 3 will shift back to focus on literature text. Second graders will participate and engage in interactive read-alouds, close readings, explicit standards-based lessons, and whole class conversations during this module. Here are the focus standards for Module 3 in Grade 2. We will have a focus on second grade reading standards RL 1.2, RL 1.3, Language 3.4a, RL 2.5, RL 2.6, and RL 3.7. Module 3 is scheduled to take place between November 30th to January 26th. This module lasts for 6 weeks. The module map contains many of the day-to-day resources you will find helpful. Google slide decks are hyperlinked within the lesson numbers for you to use if you would like. You will also find out the text selected for each lesson. Student-friendly I can statements direct students to the work they will be doing and help to make connections to independent application. At the bottom, you will also find the hyperlinked resources for word study instruction. You can also download these module maps and customize them as needed for your lesson plans. If you download your own copy, you can cut and paste as needed and type lesson planning information right onto them. Just remember that every week we are linking the next set of Google slide decks, so you will want to make sure that you are part of our Google Classroom, where we announce when a week's worth of slide decks are available. These are the texts that we will use within this module. All of these texts should be available at your school site, as they were all part of our last textbook adoption with Scholastic Materials. Throughout this module, we've included resources and suggestions to provide opportunities for students to apply their new learning. Independent reading is a valuable way to spend learning time to support students as they gradually take on more of the work. In this module, we bring forward the Somebody Wanted But So Then chart to help students recount in order. We then introduce new graphic organizers and anchor charts to help with the work of the new standards of this module. The Gaining Information from Illustrations and Words chart will support the work of RL 3.7. The Stories Take You on a Ride anchor chart will be used to teach RL 2.5. After the story structure is explicitly taught, teachers and students will work together to complete a new roller coaster chart for each book read. Finally, we use the Characters Have Different Points of View and Differences in Points of View anchor charts to teach the work of RL 2.6. These anchor charts and graphic organizers may be helpful for students as they learn to transfer what is being taught during whole group instruction into their independent reading and even small group instruction. Independence is still what we want for our students. Students need to continue to practice so they can transfer what they have learned from us to their own reading. First of all, students need to read their own books. We want to encourage students to have a nice mix of books in their book baggies from both fiction and nonfiction. However, in order for students to transfer the work of this module, during independent reading time, we should encourage the reading of fiction texts. When students are reading, you can prompt them to use information from the illustrations and words to demonstrate an understanding of the characters, setting, and plot, determine what happens before or after major events, describe the overall structure of a story, notice when a new character is speaking, speak in a different voice for each character when reading dialogue aloud, acknowledge differences in the points of view of characters. There are frequent reminders within the module for students to apply what they learn to their own reading. Within Module 3, you will find 2 scales that support the work of this module. The first scale supports the work leading up to FSQ 1. The second scale supports the work after the first FSQ all the way to the end of the module when students will take FSQ 2. We hope that you and your students have been enjoying the word study lessons that have been linked to the module map under the Word Study Language section. As a reminder, all of the materials and resources you will need for each lesson have been linked within the Word Study map. New to the map are Smart Notebook lessons and Smart Learning Suite online lessons. These are new word study lessons that were designed using the Fontes and Pinnell word study lessons that you can teach from the smartboard and can be customized according to your students' needs. You will notice two different file types of the same lesson. You may be wondering why there are two file types for the same lessons. You can use the notebook lesson to present on your board. This file type will allow you to fully customize and edit the document and has a lot more fun and interactive components to the lesson. When opening this file type, be sure to click Download and do not open using the Smart Learning Suite Online. Opening the Smart Learning Suite Online will result in some formatting issues. If you'd like to view the web-based version of the file, simply click the Smart Learning Suite Online lesson. This lesson is the same lesson, but has a few less bells and whistles and can be shared digitally. Here is a sample of what one of our lessons looks like. There are several ways to collect data or evidence of student learning. Data can be collected in a variety of ways. Some favorites are using the chat box, digital notebook, Jamboard, Flipgrid, Nearpod, or Pear Deck responses. You may have noticed the hyperlink for ongoing formative assessments. While we provide these for all grade levels, we find them especially helpful for grades 2 through 5. It provides standards-based question stems which support students with the language they will be exposed to on FSQs, USA, and on the FSA in grades 3 to 5. Throughout each module, we include these possible question stems that are standards aligned and include the language used within the lessons. This can be used during whole and small group instruction, as well as during student conferences to ask standards aligned questions and collect anecdotal notes for evidence of student learning. Those are linked on each module page on Blender under Reading Assessments and Data Analysis. Ongoing formative assessment questions that are lesson specific are included at the end of each explicit standards-based lesson. Within this module, we will also be able to collect evidence of student learning by using the two FSQs provided. During the previous Cadre session, we discussed the benefits of using Nearpod and Pear Deck as another way to gather data. Here are some of the engagement and monitoring tools offered by Nearpod. Simply download a slide deck, click Add-ons, and Nearpod. You can create some of these add-ons throughout the presentation to engage students and gather data in regards to student thinking, understandings, and standards. As you already know, Blender is the place to find everything you need to plan your instruction. Any new postings will be added to the What's New on Blender and will tell you which tab it can be found in. Within the ELA Modules tab, you will see our hyperlinked scope. Once you click on the module, you will be directed to our spreadsheet where you will find all of the resources for Module 3 in one place. You will get updates through Google Classroom and can always ask your questions there, so encourage your colleagues to join if they haven't already. The code to join is on the screen and it can also be found on Blender. Twitter is another great way to keep up with the modules of instruction. Here you can share what is going well with your instruction and share ideas with colleagues. For today's optimistic closure, please tweet out your learning from today's Cadre Literacy meeting. Use the PBC Literacy or Modules of Instruction hashtag. Thank you for participating with us today for the Grade 2 Cadre Module 3 session. We look forward to working with you in the future.